Just ahead on CTV News.
And Governor Wes Moore has issued a state of preparedness ahead of Hurricane Debby. I'm Bryce Parker. We'll have more on what to expect coming up on CTV News.
Plus, a camp teaching kids about social justice at your local library. And it's time to meet our Pet of the Week. Those stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening and happy Wednesday, everyone. I'm Michaela Newton. Thanks so much for joining us for CTV News. Our top story tonight, Prince George's County Council Chair Jolene Ivey holds a commanding lead in yesterday's special election to fill an at-large seat. Now, the latest numbers show Ivey receiving 48.97% or 9,065 votes. Ivey's nearest competitor was Tim Adams, who garnered 28.48% or 5,271 votes. And coming in third was Tamara Davis Brown, who tallied nearly 10% of those vote totals. On the Republican side, Michael Riker won with more than 47% of Republican votes, and of the nearly 20,000 ballots cast, more than 16,000 were mail-in. Now, if Ivey is declared the winner, it could set the stage for another special election for her District 5 seat. And at a rally in Philadelphia last night, Kamala Harris formally introduced her pick for Vice President, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Walz and Harris hit the stage touting an agenda of unifying the country, working for all Americans, and sharing their vision in comparison to policies being pushed by former President Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
And in 91 days, the nation will know Coach Walz by another name, Vice President of the United States.
Every day in the White House, I'll have Vice President Harris's back. Like all regular people I grew up with in the heartland, J.D. studied at Yale, had his career funded by Silicon Valley billionaires, and then wrote a bestseller trashing that community. Come on! That's not what middle America is. And I got to tell you, I can't wait to debate the guy.
Harris and Walz are on a 5-day campaign road trip with a stop in Wisconsin this afternoon. They will also visit Michigan, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Las Vegas this week. Well, a woman and her dog narrowly escaped out of a vehicle after it crashed into a pond this morning. The car crashed into a buoy pond at the 3400 block of Enterprise Road around 9:30 a.m. Thankfully, though, the woman and her dog were able to escape the vehicle uninjured. CTV did speak with a woman's husband who shares more on the crash.
My wife hit a pothole, had a blowout, and lost control of the car, and the car ended up in the pond. Police officers and everybody were very supportive. They had a guy with a wrecker that was here who helped her get the dog and my wife out. And I was able to recover all my major items, like her wallet and her cell phone. Not that was important, but I got her wallet, so that was good. And the dog and she are good to go.
Well, a storm system is quickly approaching Maryland, and Governor Wes Moore has some crucial information for residents. Let's check in with CTV's Bryce Parker for the latest update.
It seems like our record-breaking heat and our lack of rainfall will soon be followed by substantial downpour. The only question left is, will it be too much for us to manage? Governor Wes Moore has issued a state of preparedness for Maryland as Hurricane Debby approaches with scattered showers tomorrow, followed by substantial rain on Friday and Saturday. Here's what the rainfall and the declaration means for us here in Prince George's County. Our main threat as the storm approaches is heavy rainfall and tidal flooding, and some safety tips for extreme rainfall include prepping for the storm now. Check and remove all debris from your home drainage systems. Make sure all your grocery store runs and emergency supply runs are done days ahead. Also, make sure you're checking in with elderly and disabled neighbors who may need some assistance in the event of an evacuation. And next, make sure all of your devices are charged prior to the storm in the case of power outages. It might be beneficial to purchase portable charging devices in preparation for any storm that may come. And last but not least, if you do have to drive in these circumstances, remember, if you are driving and you approach high waters, remember the phrase, turn around, don't drown. From Lake Arbor, I'm Bryce Parker, CTV News.
All right, Bryce, thanks so much. Well, to receive text alerts and resources related to the storm, text MD Ready to 211-631. An Atlanta man has been convicted for a shooting that took place at a gas station almost a year ago. 33-year-old Alan Nabe is convicted after shooting a victim 4 times at a Marathon gas station in Riverdale last August. Now, Nabe hit the victim in the head with a gun, shot him, beat him, and fled the scene with his girlfriend. Now, the incident was captured on surveillance video, and Nabe has been convicted of attempted second-degree murder, first and second-degree assault, and other charges. And a federal appeals court upheld Maryland's decade-old ban on military-style firearms, often called assault weapons. The 4th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled against gun rights groups who argued that Maryland's 2013 law violates the Second Amendment. The U.S. Supreme Court chose not to review the case back in May, as the appeals court was still deliberating. Now, Maryland officials had urged that Supreme Court wait for the lower court's decision, while the plaintiffs felt the appeals process was taking too long. And Governor Wes Moore announces $11 million in funding that will go towards the state's advanced manufacturing and innovation projects. Moore, along with other elected officials and business leaders, toured Beltsville-based Ion Storage Systems, which manufactured solid-state batteries for a number of industries, including defense, aerospace, medical, and electric vehicle. Now, $4 million will go to small and mid-sized manufacturers to invest in 4.0 related technologies. Now, $7 million will go to the state's Build Our Future grant program. And one of the most iconic species of the Chesapeake Bay, oysters, are being celebrated across the country this week. That's right, it's National Oyster Week, and you can celebrate by getting some great deals and special dishes at restaurants around the county, like at Grill Marks in College Park. But beyond providing you with a delicious meal, Grill Marks is part of a partnership that is working to restore the Bay's oyster population, recycling one shell at a time.
These restaurants go out of their way to set aside what's essentially a stinky waste product, for our crew to come around and collect. There's a process that shell goes through to go from your plate when you eat it back into the Chesapeake Bay. The shell that we collect from restaurants and the larvae that they produce come together in a setting tank on a pier and sit there for about 2 weeks. The larvae will attach to the shell, and then they're permanently attached for life. We load that shell onto a planting vessel, and we take it out into the Chesapeake Bay, and we plant it wherever it's needed.
And make sure you tune in tomorrow to CTV News, where Mariah Jalad will tell us everything you need to know about the Oyster Recovery Partnership. And she'll be going to show off some of the great dishes Grill Marks is serving up this week. You don't want to miss it. And we want to make a correction in the story that we reported on yesterday. There's currently a legal challenge against the County Council's recently passed zoning bill. In our reporting, we incorrectly stated that the Sierra Club is one of the groups that has joined a petition for a judicial review of CB 15-2024. However, the only civic group that was signed onto the petition is the Vansville Heights Citizens Association Incorporated. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Michaela Newton. Still to come, worried about your catalytic converter being stolen? Well, the MVA may have what you need. We'll have that story and more when we return.
I wish people knew that when you live in a small town like mine, it's much harder to find friends with common interests, especially ones my age. I often feel really alone.
Same here. Seems like every time we finally settle somewhere, I have to pack up and move again. By the time I make a real friend, I have to say goodbye to them.
I totally get it. I live in a big city, but it can feel just as lonely. It's tough, but it gets easier.
Honestly, I totally get what you're going through. It's nice to know that you feel the same.
You enjoyed my story. I really enjoyed your story as well.
Welcome back. Police need your help tonight in locating a missing man. Take a look at your screen. This is 87-year-old Jose Venegas. He was last seen near 24th Avenue in Hyattsville on August 4th. Now, Venegas is 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighs about 135 pounds. He was last seen wearing a multicolored shirt and black jeans, but anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to call missing persons at 301-772-8970. And Maryland drivers can now protect their catalytic converters free of charge, courtesy of the Maryland Motor Vehicle Administration. Identification labels can be obtained and placed on your catalytic converter on a first-come, first-served basis. And this is to prevent the theft of this equipment in the state and help law enforcement track stolen converters. Now, this particular equipment is stolen and resold for its valuable metals and can cost about $1,200 to replace. Now, from January 2021 to March 2022, Maryland had over 3,400 catalytic converters reported stolen. Well, a summer camp wants to give county youth the tools they need to be real change makers in their communities. The Prince George's Memorial Library System and the county's Office of Human Rights are teaming up again to host another week-long social justice camp for teens. The camp, which is free to county participants, is being held at the Fairmount Heights Branch Library. Young people will learn about time management, problem-solving skills, and social justice movements led by other young people.
Today we have 2 different modules is what we call them. Our first one is going to be on ethics and values. So we really dive into what personal ethics are and then how our values kind of shape those ethics. And they don't know this yet, but they're going to have to figure out what their top values are through a process of elimination. It's always a fun time. They have a lot of deliberating within themselves that they have to do to get ready.
And this is the 3rd year the library is running the camp. Well, the Department of Labor believes new leadership and procedural changes will help tackle the long-standing backlog of unemployment insurance claims. However, claimants and their attorneys are still waiting for real progress since the 2022 settlement. According to an article from the Maryland Daily Record, after agreeing to reform the overwhelmed claims process facing issues like understaffing, increased fraud, and faculty online system, the department has not been able to make timely payments to thousands of unemployed individuals still waiting for their benefits. And Governor Wes Moore is backing over 150,000 military and veteran caregivers in Maryland by joining the Elizabeth Dole Foundation's Hidden Heroes campaign. And this campaign aims to raise awareness about the challenges these caregivers face, provide vital resources for those caring for wounded, ill, and injured service members and veterans, and connect them with a supportive community of peers. The county animal shelter is at critical capacity. In the last week, they've taken in 200 animals, including 53 are removed from homes due to safety concerns. But to help with adoptions, the animal shelter is partnering up with shelters across the state for the Maryland 3000 campaign. Now, throughout the month of August, adoption fees will be waived for all shelter animals. One of those up for adoption is Muffin Moo. He's a 5-month-old white and brown tiger domestic short hair.
Special because he's super friendly, and you see he's purring right now. He deserves a home, that somebody that show him love. We are at capacity right now, but you see for the whole month of August, all adoption fees are waived, so I feel like that's a good opportunity for people who want to come adopt.
And if you would like to adopt Muffin Moo or any of his furry friends, call Animal Management at 301-780-7200. All right, still to come on CTV News, Simon Buggs is here with our Wednesday sports page. Simon, what's in store today?
Well, Michaela, we have some great minor league baseball in store for today. What's going on, everybody? Don't move, because coming right up, I've got some great highlights for you from the Bowie Bay Sox versus Harrisburg Senators game that was played last night. Stay tuned.
might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. You may not even know you have it, but you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand. With early diagnosis, you can change the outcome and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Okay, sports fans, you know what time it is. We begin your Wednesday sports page with some highlights from the world of minor league baseball.
It was an exciting game over at Prince George's Stadium as the Bowie Bay Sox took the diamond against a familiar foe in the Harrisburg Senators. Starting with the first inning, the Bay Sox defense got off to a good start, getting the Senators' offense off the field without scoring any runs, thanks to nice plays like this one where Bowie's umpire threw the ball to infielder Colin Burns, and he got an out to prevent the Senators from getting a stolen base. And Bowie's offense got off to a red-hot start when they took the field, as outfielder Judd Fabian, who was first at bat, blasted a homer on his very first swing, and Bowie was now up 1-0 on Harrisburg. And soon after, Bowie was able to score their second run of the night as another outfielder in Dylan Beavers hit a home run as well, giving Bowie a 2-0 lead on the Senators. Fast forward to the second inning, Fabian made another nice play, as with outfielder Dante Williams on third base, he was able to bring Williams home, giving the Bay Sox their third run of the night. Now to the third inning, even though Bowie didn't score, they kept Harrisburg from putting up runs also, thanks to nice plays like this one from Burns, who made a nice catch that gave the Senators their third and final out of the inning. Moving on to the fourth inning, Fabian recorded another RBI, as this hit allowed infielder Noel Berth Romero to get to home plate, and the Bay Sox were now up 4-0 on the Senators. And in the end, Bowie came out on top, beating Harrisburg 5-3.
Bowie will try to make it 2 straight wins against the Senators when the two teams take the diamond again tonight at 6:35. Switching gears to college hoops, the home non-conference schedule for the 2024-2025 UMD women's basketball season has finally been announced. The Lady Terps will play 6 non-conference home games. In their home opener, Maryland will host Coppin State at Xfinity Center on November 7th. The team's other home non-conference opponents include Duke, Towson, St. Francis, Mount St. Mary's, and William and Mary. For more information on the Lady Terps schedule, you can visit the website on your screen. And finally, the Washington Nationals took down the San Francisco Giants last night, 11-5. The Nats and Giants will face off again tonight at 6:45. And that wraps up your Wednesday sports page.
Yeah, so the weather might be a little bit bad for sports fans wanting to go out tonight.
Yeah, it looked like it might be a rain out today, Michaela.
Yeah, but it's okay. Let's get a look at our final weather forecast. Tonight we are expecting heavy rain and flooding is possible in some areas throughout the region, so please be prepared. Make sure you have that umbrella handy. Tomorrow we're looking at a high of 82 with very heavy rain. Friday we'll have a high of 83. Expect even more showers and thunderstorms. Saturday we have a chance of showers in the early morning, but should be nice with a high of 84. And finally, let's take a look at our community calendar. Tomorrow night, Denizens Brewing Company is hosting a trivia night. So join Cap City Trivia for a chance to test your knowledge. You can win prizes and, of course, enjoy many beer options. Trivia night occurs every Thursday from 7:30 to 9:30. But for more information, contact 240-582-6817. And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks so much for joining us.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.